And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country, so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Assad is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
How about police? Order, the color. Police, be on your seat, Please have your seat. How about police, be on your seat? Make a call back. How about police, you have the floor. How about police, you have the floor. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You chair will take section. If you don't take the chair, Sadi, please, Sadi, people outside. Sadi, escort the gentleman out. Sadi, escort the gentleman out, please. Sadi, escort the gentleman out. Sadi, put the man out, put the out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out, Sadi.
About the issue of the private jet, and whether or not it is being paid for by Liberia. I will tell you that the president have not paid for any private jet and does not have any interest in paying money for private jets. As you know, Liberia is currently challenged in the transportation sector. And one of the issues that he has said consistently is that his goal is to make sure that the important sectors are taken care of. And his own to procure private jet, that is not the government's priority at the moment. Even though every country, the president say you go to other countries, the presidents will have a presidential plane. The country has a presidential plane. But currently, Liberia does not have one, and our current president is not interested in procuring one at the about the
see the need for the use of private jet. We see the need, and I say now, the use of private jet by the president of Liberia.
One of the issues that he has said consistently is that his goal is to make sure that the sectors, the important sectors, are taken care of. And his own to procure private jet, that is not the government's priority at the moment. Even though every country, the presidents say you go to other countries, the presidents will have a presidential plane. The country has a presidential plane. But currently, Liberia does not have one, and our current president is not interested in procuring one at the moment because one, there are no resources for it. Secondly, there are other high-level and key priorities that the president cares about.
We see the need for the use of private jet. We see the need, and I say now, the use of private jet by the president of Liberia. We see the need for the use of private jet. We see the need, and I say now, the use of private jet by the president of Liberia. The thing that can solve it, the private jet issue, is for us to procure a presidential jet for Liberia, for the use of the president and for official use.
Of course, I don't have a plane, so I got a commercial flight. That's what I went on, and that's what we'll be riding, unless where somebody offer us a free ride. That's what we'll ride.
I'm not coming new to government, although in different positions, ran a public corporation that was credible. And I can tell you that I come to work not with friendship. I have friends, but there is a clear line of demarcation between friendship, family, and managing.
The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. They old. He take Kun is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you as president. The owner is old. He take to produce vice president. Our prayer. When you turn to the man, the owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? Against our prayer for you to produce vice president. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The owner is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, and I could be doing a job for you. Can he go everywhere? No.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
That we will see every day that he designed. And there's one core reason for that. We speak truth to power. Emancipate his people from the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. Bring them out of slavery, out of bondage from the hands of Pharaoh. So yeah, we are to honor God's instruction. Had a wonderful time. As I had, God kept watch over every one of us, and he set us into this day, a day that he looks up to everybody to be honest, to avoid corruption, injustices, and on, to show anger, frustration, venting. Do you know that all of Jesus's vexation was not about himself, was about or against the injustices, the abuses of people's rights called fundamental human rights, widespread corruption, and on and on. And that's what anger is. If your anger is all about yourself, then it is not nationalistic, patriotic anger. But if it is against the injustices, the widespread corruption, the mysterious disappearances and arbitrary arrest and killings, then that is an anger that is acceptable in the sight of God. That is what the Bible refers to as righteous anger, because it is hurting. That injustice is hurting another person, and you are speaking against it. Those of you who opt to remain silent because you think you ought not to, but rather vent out your anger against those who speak truth to power, you are on God's list for possible condemnation. You will enjoy the few United States dollars. You will get the recognition. You will ride the fine cars or luxury cars. You will get yourself in the midst of the aristocrats and the bourgeois. The gathering will be so encouraging to you. But at the close of the day, there is the end of everything. At the close of that end, you will regret why you did not hold, protect, maintain your integrity by not giving in, by not kowtowing in their power. Another day to talk about the issues. Thank you all for coming on. I appreciate all of you persons on the show. We've got the issues to talk about. The strategy is not going to work. We know about them. We're exposed them to you. Just hold on, keep tight. we are giving you 4,000 today alongside the information. Start playing now. Dial star 799 star 24 hash. Play with just $1 or 70 cents US. That's all you need to do. Just play with $1 or 70 cents US. That's all. No more, no less. Dial star 799 star 24 hash and just put in $1 or 70 cents US, and then you can have your 4,000. Today is Tuesday. You need something to get going. And then the 11th is King's 88.5 anniversary. Along the way, you have a detail. You have the people responsible explaining, giving you the history, the hurdles, and the prospects. So just so you know. But in the meantime, this is your station. That's why you people always say, oh, our station, our station. So the time has come now to show that this is truly your station. The station birthday is coming, and the tradition of a birthday, it is not the person who is celebrating that gives gift. It is the person who is sympathizing or celebrating with that person gives gift. When Jesus was sent to the earth as per his birth, what happened? The Bible says the wise men, every other, when they found the child Jesus where he was, they say they opened up their treasures and they brought out golds, frankincense, and myrrh. They poured all on him. From that day till the war will come to an end. And even in the next war, God has said it. That's how it is. So don't kind of like you can do and see you're doing when somebody's birthday coming, the person tell you and say, well, what are we doing for the day? No, you don't bring out what we're doing for the day to King's FM. That your station. When you call, oh, our station here, oh, this station, our station, the station birthday coming. So that your time now to show your love for the station. That is there. Okay. So as we gave you 4,000 Liberian dollars today, we give you information alongside it. While you're getting the information, take the 4,000 this way. Just $1 or 70 cents US. Dial star 799 star 24 hash. That's all you need to do. And then you have your 4,000 Liberian dollars. Start playing now. Play as many times as you can. Time is of the essence. Let's get started. Where do we go? What do we have on our plate this afternoon? Well, let's start with the Might Make Right regime presided over by Mr. Nebuchadnezzar and Joseph Yemabuakai. They have suppressed, they tighten their grip on freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and a lot more. All of these things are calculated to have a one-party state, lone voice in the wilderness, and everybody bows. Because they have seen that they've fallen along the way, that they are more rhetorical than developmental, and most of the people are getting uncomfortable to the extent they are showing it out, they're not hiding it again. They have resorted to this strategy of internal intimidation. That is, if you are within the government and you try to be honest, what is referred to as critical, they will remove you immediately. Here is how they are doing it. They are not coming up, the big guns are not the ones coming up to say, but they are aware it is the strategy. They are also working on a strong media team. They're trying to put a media team together. That media team will be to counter the truth that the opposition community or the opposition radio will be putting out. They know that the opposition radio will speak the truth because they see the truth will manufacture nothing. They know that the pro-government radio stations and state radio will not in any way look at the wrongs of the government and say, yeah, it's a typical example. The widespread corruption at the National Oil Company of Liberia. The state radio dare say anything about that. The person who will report that will be dismissed. So alongside what I'm about to talk about, they decided, I told you a couple of weeks ago, the Ministry of Information, the money office called the Ministry of Finance, and yeah, there are 5 institutions. The Ministry of Information will hear that since it is the communication arm. They will not be in the forefront. They will use surrogates. So the budget is between 5 to 10,000 because they realize that most of the media people are vulnerable. They can easily give into 250 US, 150, 350, 500, even if you went to 1,000, forget it. So they know that these people are ready to give in one small money is pushed across. But that is not the meeting. I'm just giving you a hint. So as part of this strategy, that nobody will talk, that nobody will be self-critical from within out of the government, they have developed this internal intimidation strategy to silence. That's what they have developed. Who leaked that out? Their own people within. This country is small. There is nothing the government will plan, it will not come out. Absolutely not. Once it is something intended to infringe on people on one segment right and elevate the other side, somebody will expose it. So over the time, people have been speaking out. It had not been fine for the government. The international community is watching. They've taken down the things that are happening. Very shortly, they will be releasing the first situational report on Liberia. So they don't want these things to go out, but they don't have a full control of it because you have majority of the radio stations or the opposition radio stations are in the majority as compared to pro-government and state radio. So it is difficult, but they're trying. They cannot manage it as the way they want to do it. So what they're doing now is they're telling people, they're just saying it, that if anybody in our government and you try to bring the government down, you try to do this, then you can be on the train. So those who are making 2,000, 2,005 or 1,005 or 1,000, those who were brought on board, either brought on board by recommendation or by the person's own ability or by the president's appointment, they will not have to say anything. Even if they saw Nebuchadnezzar ripping the coffers, they will have to say he did not. Because if you dare say I saw or I'm aware, you are dismissed. So the thing is, stay in it. Let all of us enjoy the cookies in the cookies jar. If you want to get fat, then be with us. If you want to be dry, begging around, then you can be critical of Unity Party, will flush you out. The strategy is they don't want anybody to be critical of the government from within. They know that they can control it from outside, so they've tried to develop a strong mechanism from within. You talk, you're going. Let me show you a couple of them. One of them said this. Here is it. This is what one of them said. And this was supported by a stalwart of not only the party, but a decision maker in this government. This strong partisan sent out, they're using them as surrogates to intimidate the other people to keep them from being critical. They said, the person said, any rescue official that decides to embarrass us, we will hang on your garment. Too much was risked for you all to be acting salty. We ain't here for any tabata. This is the first of many. It came from what people had been saying over the time. The government is messing up, their own people tired. Most of the people tired. They saying it openly. They're not hiding. Some of them even willing to give up the position. So because they don't want this bad image, they know that it's bad, they don't want it to get out. So they are silencing honest voices. Honest voices. The second one I can share with you, then we'll go to the other. Not much attention on this. Besides being our professional colleague, personally, I understand from whence she spoke. She have not had the opportunity to have gotten such a high portfolio or big job, I was saying Liberian term before, except for being around the corridor of the Liberia broadcasting system. So I can understand that she did not say it herself. Two, she heard, she saw, she must have gone to one or two meetings and this thing came up. And so she just decided to act brave. But what she said was not necessarily what would take her off her position. What can take her off her position, apart from what she told Bouakai, is simple thing, very simple. You don't have to be vocal. It is not only being vocal that you are taking off job or Unity Party flush you out. You can do something that you consider simple, but in the wisdom of the person or the other people who are around, critical, and they use that to take you off. So I can understand when that came up, I said, okay, no problem. Despite being our professional colleague, but you know, she's not exposed. She's not exposed. No disrespect to her, but she isn't exposed. Just like the Minister of Justice said also to her, he said, since he started life, this is his first big job, the first job he have ever had. He said, apart from his private law practice, he hasn't had a top job like the one he has as Justice Minister. So in essence, he was telling the rest of the world some of these mistakes or that you hear me say and do, it is at the will and pleasure to please Mr. President. So I can understand what this assistant minister said. Again, she is our colleague, not going to stay on this long. And that is why I am saying it the way I'm saying it, because I know that she can say outside the corridor of government, she can say she really hasn't been a strong supporter of the government. No, some of these people, it's just connection, liaising with this person, and the person say, oh, okay, so, okay, I will do something. I will make sure you get something. That's all. But not necessarily that they were foot soldiers, or even if they were foot soldiers, the exposure wasn't there and still not there. So I can understand why she said what she said. This is the Assistant Minister for Public Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, what she told Bouakai. You know, I can't do that under no condition. We won't do that to any boss. No, but you can understand there's a difference between being excited, having a high profile position, and being exposed or know what accompany that position. How can a person said this, that LRB, you can see the intimidation in the atmosphere other than scare. Over the days, you will hear more. I'm just sharing few with you. Their own people from within leaking it out. So she goes to tell Bouaka that even if one of them bring the government to public ridicule, including herself, Bouaka should sack her. Rescue. She said, if anybody, including herself, or let me use herself, that if she brought the government to ridicule Bouaka, should sack her. Does she need to say that? Does it say you are a lawyer? No. That line, that statement is simply a hypocrisy, a pretense, acting like you're a lawyer, but you aren't. You're trying to defend your opportunistic position. So not much to say about her, I can understand. It is based on what came out. There are the other ones. There are several. So it is the strategy. Now, you know why she made the statement and the other people are making the statement. That one I will leave it for tomorrow. Later yesterday, what did the CEO, former Representative Rosalind Swakoko Dennis, said? She said young people should start being envious of each other. Apparently, she was referencing Sewakba or Sewakba referencing her because they get a small envy among themselves. So that's a strategy. Mo Ali, who is one of the masterminds of all of these things, what did he say? He gave his full support to this strategy that government officials, people within the government, how you came in or not, you dare say anything about the government. Everything you ought to say, positive. There where we are. So, okay, y'all maintain your job, yeah? But no matter what, some way, somehow, y'all will say something and y'all will get out. When y'all get out, then y'all start running to the opposition radio. Because that's how it is done. I have known this society for a very long time. There were people who 6 years ago, they had no time. They were running all around acting like the big boys and big girls. They out of power now. Then they're running, they're calling us arena, they're acting like they're friendly. But a couple of years back, friendliness was not part of their vocabulary. So you enjoy yourselves, yeah? When they pull you out, then you'll start running. You can't go to state radio. That time you'll start acting like opposition radio station, that your best radio. Absolute nonsense. Let's move on to the next thing. These things, I just thought to share two with you. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just thought to share two with you. We'll share the other ones tomorrow. Time is of the essence. So the guys are not giving up on the speaker's office. They are desperate, and their desperation for taking over this office of the speaker has brought division amongst them. I am referencing the majority bloc of Joseph Yema Boakai, House of Representatives. They convened today. Last week, they reached a decision that Rachel Kuhn, who is their speaker, should now move in that office and run the speakership from there. They said they wrote the speaker formally and he reneged on responding. Therefore, they had resolved to take over the office by force, get in there, burst the door open in clear view of the media that they would put everything in the corridor. And some of their colleagues objected to that. And according to them, they sought the advice of the Justice Minister, Oswotwe, who told them If you guys said you wrote him formally and he didn't respond to you guys, assume that it was verbal. Write him a formal letter, and then within the letter, give him 5 days ultimatum. If he can respond by instructing his office staff to turn over the office since he is not in the country, then you can move in with the media to have his things thrown out when the 5 days expire. Those 5 days expired. Today, Tuesday, they convene again in the ballroom of the Moravia City Hall, because that is not the House of Representatives. They met in the ballroom. It is a clique now. A clique can meet anywhere. A clique can meet anywhere. They told you, we need not explain this. They were at RLJ. From there, they went on the other side. From there, they went in the ballroom where they are presently. A clique is just like mercenaries. Mercenary never stays one place permanently. No. If you have ever seen a mercenary stays at a place permanently, then you share that with me. But as far as I have known and still know, mercenary move from one end to another. So they are political, legislative mercenaries. They'll move from here, today, the year, tomorrow, they're over there. So they're in a ballroom denying their very government of generating revenues. That place collects thousands of United States dollars in liberty for the government. Now, nobody can go there to do business because few people, few lawmakers, few majority lawmakers, they are sitting in that ballroom of the Moravia City Hall called the House of Representatives. They met today, they convened today. Again, it was on their agenda. The Speaker's office was on their agenda. This time around, unlike last week, today it was heated. The argument was not as heated last week. It was a normal flow, and then because reason was on the floor, so they left it for today. It came up. Today's argument was very heated on the floor. This time around, the resolution was, let's take a decision, move in there, put Fonati Kofa things outside, turn the office over to Richard Kuhn. Following that heated argument, which factionalized them, one group said no. That's not the right way to go. The pro-office group say, let's move today, Tuesday. Let's move and open the office. That's the pro-office group. They obsessed for office, along with their speaker, Richard Kuhn. It was the decision they took. The anti came out and said, no, as much as we want this office, let us not proceed this way. If we went and forced the man's office open, we'll be taking the law into our hands. Ironically, they're now talking about law or respecting law. You see the oxymoron. They say, that group say, no. Let us not go and force the main office open. If we did that, we will be disrespecting. It will be a wrong procedure. We might find ourselves in something. So let us leave it as it is. I should tell you that there wasn't any resolution on whether they would discuss it on Thursday or what they intend to do, whether they will leave it until Kofa himself can give in, or on Thursday they will take a decision, or they will go to the court, or they will call the media. because they said that they wanted to do it in the presence of the media. What has the media got to do with that? What has the media got to do with that? Or whichever way, but there's no way you can force it. You can force the speaker office open to put Richard Kuhn there as the speaker. Is that the only place that Richard Kuhn can feel comfortable, or will give him everything the Speaker of the House of Representatives? No, I think if you know who you are, if you are legitimate, you will not fight for place. You can operate from where you are. Bouaka legitimized him already as the Speaker. Bouaka recognized him as the Speaker. So what's the fight for office here and there? He has all of the immunities. They gave him the license plate. They gave him the speaker card, Representative 1. They gave him everything. The only thing he hasn't received yet is the office. So what's the need again? Where he's sitting, his office is comfortable. But that's what they decided today. They did not reach a resolution on when they're going to take a decision or whether they will leave it until Kofa himself can say, okay, I have reached a decision now. I've decided to turn over the office. But today it was a heated argument. They were mixed. The views were mixed. One group said, let's move in now militarily and seize the office for him. Another group said, no, there is the diplomatic table. We have to be careful so that we don't cause an uprising or a resurgence. So so let's leave it as it is. Probably with the way things going, though he's not in the country, he might reach the decision and communicate back home that he has given his approval for Richard Kuhn to use the office, and his staff will take over the office or will turn the office over. He's not in the country, I am told. And it's good that he's not in the country. Thank God Almighty, he's not in the country. Wisdom took him out of here. I am convinced that if he was in this country, the situation would have been different. Already he was in Liberia. He was being intimidated. He was being cornered. He was being harassed by Nebuchadnezzar and his surrogates. God imputed wisdom into him to leave Liberia. This is not good for Mr. President and the government. That man left from here because of his safety, his security, his life. And I don't want to believe that Fonati Kofa will come back to this country anytime soon. If he's out of this country, I was told that he's out. He could choose to come back, but I don't think it will be sooner, neither later. And given that some of his colleagues from the other side having the same understanding that he might not come back soon, so they want to get the office at all costs. So what did he say to them? That you guys claim to be rational. You guys claim you got some lawyers amongst you people who are my colleagues. You people said that legally you ousted the speaker, meaning you took me from there. The method that you use to take me from there, you used the same method to take the office. That's what he said. So no, I see no reason why they're scrambling amongst themselves. That's what you do that's what happens when you do something right. You get confused amongst your very selves. You don't know how to proceed, even though you claim that you are doing the right thing. The speaker said, you took me from there parliamentarily. All of the procedures were followed. Then why you're telling me to turn office over? You use the same method now. If you took me from there parliamentarily, then you should be asking me for office. And the speaker makes sense. You took somebody from there by the procedure, by the law, then why will you be asking? The person will turn over everything to you because the person knows that you got it legitimately. Nebuchadnezzar regime. That's what came up today. The guys, they did not resolve on when or the next action they would take, but they are desperate to have the office so that Rachel Cohn can move in. And the speaker, as far as he's concerned, they claim to have ousted him parliamentarily, so they should not be asking him to turn over office. They have the office. If everything was done right, why should they be asking him for office? It's an irony. You claim you asked the man, you gave the man due process, you've done everything, you elected a new speaker. Then why are you asking for office again? All right. Stay at the legislature. Was it last week? Yes, last week. It was last week. Yeah. Last week. It was last week. And this thing unfolded. It was last week.
Police, police, be on the seat, please have your seat. Be on the seat. You have the floor. You have the floor. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You can't retain section. If you don't take the chair, take your hand. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. If you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You can't retain section. If you don't take the chair, take your hand. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out, please. Escort the gentleman out. Sergeant, put the man out, put the out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out, Sergeant.
So it was last week when Yeke went into the ballroom. Just so you know, they have resolved now. They tire of the latches, the condemnations, the criticism. They've tired now. So they decided to leave City Hall ballroom to go into their main chambers. The place they say Fonatikofa burnt. They said on March 11, March 11, they're going back in their chambers. They tired. Listen, when you think you're clever, you look stupid in the eyes of people.